Hi, I'm Stavros Halkias.
And I'm Matt Johnson, and this is the A24 podcast. This is my theory about planning in movies.
Yes, hit me with it.
It is so intimidating to go in with a plan, especially if you're from a comic sensibility, that if, and I feel it all the time, it's actually how my whole career kind of started, which is that stand-up must be so different because you go up and you basically just say what it is and either they like it or they don't. Mm-hmm. With movies, it's like you need to arrive and people are expecting to hear what you want. And there's nothing more vulnerable than saying, okay, I want you to say this, I want you to do this, and then all you guys do this. And then all it takes is one person to be like, really? That's what you want?
Fucking sucks, dude.
And then your heart breaks and you're like, I don't know. And so I think it's why it is so addictive for especially modern movies to go in with no plan, so that the ego of the creator can't be castrated, literally.
Well, you know what it is? Then you get to make all the decisions with no one there. Because you just make whatever the fuck happens, and then whatever's there, you have to do it. And then in the edit, there's no actor you have to
please. Nobody's judging you.
No,
yes. And then you get to pick the best of it. The problem is that, I mean, as rightfully so, movies need to come together. You know what I mean? It needs to have an intention. And so it's finding that sweet spot in the middle of having at least a notion of the direction of where the movie is. And I would think most importantly, why are you making the movie? Mm-hmm. And if you can't answer that, then you will never find that on set. Yeah. Like, you need to at least know why you're fucking doing it.
Do you get any joy from like being like the guy, like, because there's also
I hate power and I love flat hierarchies. This movie is about flat hierarchies. I actually hate it because I myself hate being told what to do.
Right. Oh.
I hate it, and I hate it so much that it created the kind of like nonstop lying that I found myself doing when I was a young person. That it was my way of rebelling against just like the expectation around me. I hate being told what to do.
So you did nonstop lying because you don't want anybody to know who you actually were?
No, it's way more complicated than that. It was that I would always be asked questions by my mom and my brother, which I knew they knew the answer to. And because of that, I felt like...
It's a deposition. They're just trying to get it on the record.
Actually, no, because it wasn't even about trouble. It would be things like, who are you talking on the phone with? They know I'm talking to Steve Boss. He's my only friend. I'm in grade 2. You know who I'm talking to. And in my complicated adolescent, Steve Boss. Only his father was Charles Boss.
Chuck Boss?
Chuck Boss. He was a nuclear physicist. Amazing guy. His mom was a law librarian. This is an amazing family.
Yeah. And Chuck Boss dropping bombs on you.
You want to know how he answered the phone? By listing his own phone number. So you would call him and he would list. That was the opening salvo. His phone number. Apparently that's very common in Britain.
Just to make sure you didn't dial a wrong number?
I never asked. I was 6.
Britain? So your best friend is in Britain?
No. They moved.
They moved to the Commonwealth.
Here. Yeah, to the Commonwealth. They moved to Canada.
They sent them to get things in order.
But because I knew my parents, my brother and mom knew who I was on the phone with, I felt like I was almost being put in a place by being forced to answer a question I knew the answer to. Yeah. It was almost like a way of controlling me. Of course it's not. That's just my own ego getting all mixed up. Really, I think it was just their way of starting a conversation. And now I realize that, right? But in my little piece of shit brain,
of course,
I'm like, I'm going to lie. Yeah. And I'm going to say I was on the phone with somebody else to make them then admit.
Your move.
Yeah, your move. Yeah, now what are you going to do?
I see what you were up to.
I see what you're up to, and then I became so addicted to this game, and I say addicted in the negative sense, like addicted, like you'd be addicted to drugs.
As in the positive? What do you mean the positive sense?
Well, you know how you can get addicted to ping pong, and
but that's a fun turn of phrase.
Yeah, right.
It is the negative sense.
It became a huge problem that then morphed into just a way of life where I was just lying about everything all the time.
That's really interesting. I lied a lot, but only to get out of trouble.
That's the other reason men lie.
To
either inflate their own status or to avoid consequences. Well, that's what the movie is about.
Two different guys. Yeah, we're each the different. And that is really interesting. Do you remember a time you got caught that was really like? I do remember my first real bad getting caught because I had a nice racket going in second grade. It was like second or third grade where because I was a good student the whole time.
Of course.
And then one time I forgot my homework at home. And it was like bullshit reading homework, right? And my teacher took my word for it and didn't even bother to check because I was a kid who did his homework, right? And then I realized, like, I can just always say that.
Discover a superpower.
I can always say it's at home. And then for a while, I was saying to my mom, I stayed after school to the rec center to play basketball or soccer.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, Ma, I stayed after school and did my homework. And there was like 2 months where I was like, every day I told my teacher that I left it at home, and I told my parents that I did it at school, right? And then there was a parent-teacher conference, and they were both in the same room. And it was the first time I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, oh, what the fuck? This could happen? Why the fuck did everybody tell me this could happen if you lie? I thought it was just an awesome thing you do to not have to do bullshit homework. Yeah. And then I was like, the two entities I'm most scared of at this point in my life, my teacher, because I was a very, like, I need to get good grades kid, and my parents, and I was like, I am fucked.
And were you?
I was. I think I was able to. I don't remember. I honestly, I just resisted the urge to lie to make myself sound better. Because I was about to tell a story about how I cried. Literally, that's what popped into my head. Complete fiction that I have no idea. But let's be honest.
Liar's brain.
It was literally liar's brain.
Yeah,
little child liar's brain.
Yeah.
I don't remember what happened, but I remember from then on, the lesson was hide your lies better.
Of course.
The lesson wasn't stop lying. The thing I took from that was
never get caught.
You gotta have a backup plan. You gotta have plausible deniability. You gotta have whatever. Yeah. And then I just started kind of getting into cheating and like doing my homework late and like just kind of like bullshitting it on the way to stuff. And but there was a real rebellion in me of like being the actual good kid, which I just could have been. Right?
Is it so funny how I bet you would have been less effort?
Much less effort. Much less effort, but it is all the learning disability shit that you don't know about. I really just couldn't. I just hated doing homework. I just hated doing boring bullshit. I mean, not that any kid loves it, but I don't know what it was. And I just got into, just because all success was just like to appease my parents.
You're right. It had nothing to do with your own self-worth.
And good grades was never about learning. I didn't give a fuck about learning.
Right.
I learned about stuff naturally that I liked. I was a big mythology kid. You know what I mean? Like I loved, Greek mythology was like, I was in a comic book kid because Greek mythology was like my comic books. And I was into the stuff I liked. When I found comedy, I was really, I was watching Sandler movies pretty young, whatever. But and I didn't care about getting good grades. Like I didn't care about learning anything in school.
You thought it was going to have no application to your adult life whatsoever.
I just didn't even. Yeah. It never occurred to what I thought the point was to get good grades so people would think you're smart.
A game.
And that's all it was.
Yeah.
And I got really good at that. I treated so good. I got into AP U.S. history, the advanced one.
Yeah.
And then it just turned out I was awesome at history, by accident. And then I got a scholarship because I went to college because I cheated into the thing. If I had just done my homework, I would have. I would have done great.
God's
You know what I mean?
That's literally the exact ending of our movie.
You're right.
That Tony is like, I'm going to cheat out of this thing, and then at the end, Antonio Banderas goes up to us and says, "Thank you."
Yeah.
Thank you. I have a very similar story about cheating in OAC calculus. It was so brutal. I was like a class clown. I'd already gotten into film school, and so it's once you've gotten into university, it's like, my grades don't matter at all. What the fuck do I care? Calculus was so difficult because
particularly calculus. It's crazy to even take that when you're going to film school.
Well, you're telling me. And so here's how it goes. I'm not sure if you know this, but there's regular calculators that are like the simple ones.
TI-83.
Yeah, right.
You're talking to a guy who programmed his entire. There was, I think, a physics test where it was multiple choice and there was written, right? And it was like math problems and then it was like multiple choice. And I copied the entire study guide word for word into a TI-83.
Oh my God!
Like how it had the programming
of course,
function.
Exactly.
And so every multiple choice one where the study guide had the answer, I got 100% and I got a 0 on the math part. And I got 50%.
Now your teacher didn't restrict those calculators because that's where my story is going.
No. Please, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm so happy you know the literal exact technology because they had these calculators in our school. We were not allowed to have them for these. It was an examination, and so it's antiderivatives, which I don't know if these are.
I don't even. Yeah.
It's for somebody who didn't study and didn't do any of the coursework. It is like a special kind of hell to try to solve.
I can't even.
But I know that I can solve all these things just by typing them into this TI-83, and it's going to do it all for me. So I sneak into the math department. I have such a good relationship with the head of the department, a guy named Mr. Milky. And I'm like, hey.
Mr. Milky.
He's a great guy.
Chuck Boss and Mr. Milky?
Mr.
I mean, these are fake. These are cartoon names.
It was a German name. He's a wonderful guy. He's a real role model to me, actually. But I say, hey, I need one of those TI-83 calculators because and he just trusted me. He was like, of course. Of course, he's the head of the department. He knows I've got an exam in Miss Leander's class.
Right.
And so as soon as I got the calculator, I'm like, I wonder if this is going to catch up to me. But probably not. So I go in to do the exam, and I'm doing it. No problem. I'm typing in the things and the answers. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is like stealing candy from a baby. And then I kid you not, I'm noticing everybody in the class is starting to look at me. And they're looking at me in a kind of odd way. I'll give you the look. They look at me like this.
Right.
And it's not just one person doing it, it's everybody. And then Miss Leanders, at the front, starts looking at me the same way. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Everybody knows I have the calculator. Everybody knows I'm cheating.
Right.
And they're all waiting to pull the rug out and humiliate me. It's finally, here's what I'm thinking, Stav, it's finally going to be over.
Right.
I'm like, well, that's
free.
it. It's finally going to be over.
Yeah,
They're going to realize that I am just a loser, liar, fake, and they're going to expel me.
Yeah.
Because,
Oh, wow.
in some ways, an expellable offense.
Sure.
You're cheating on an exam. Anyway, I start sweating. And I start pushing the calculator, so I can hide it.
Hilarious.
And then I drop it into a bag, and then I close the bag.
Fuck.
And I'm like, okay, well, now at least I can say that I didn't have the calculator at the time. But people keep looking at me, then they start laughing. Literally, they're starting to laugh while they look at me.
Oh, this idiot thinks he got away
And
with
I'm
it.
like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And so then I finally go back to the exam, and I keep writing, and I get to a question where Leanders has written the question with me as a character, and I'm doing all this goofy shit in a math problem. That's what everybody's laughing at.
My God.
That's why they keep looking at me for a reaction. And I'm like, and I can feel God looking at me like, that's the one. And if you ever do this again, you're fucked, kid.
That's crazy.
And then, of course, I get like a D.
Of
on
course.
I've
Even
lost
cheating,
the calculator.
yes,
I know the calculator's gone.
Right.
Because I put it away.
You
And so
hid
I
it.
finish it like this. And I'm like, okay, all right. Like it was the most scared straight moment.
Yeah, of course.
But of course, it's so low stakes. But
that's really funny that the whole way you even got the calculator, which is being the kind of kid who
you can entrust
who
with
you
this.
can trust,
Yeah,
who the head of the department knows and has a relationship with. Like that's what also stopped you from cheating, because having that personality made you the kind of guy who's a perfect target for a little comic relief in the
Bingo,
thing.
and everybody knew me.
But you were the class clown to such a degree that you almost got to. It's like in The Wire when Stringer Bell becomes the bank. It's like you're so untouchable.
Yes.
Through just being a class clown, you were so good at it that now you can wash your hands of the criminal enterprise.
I have a very similar story about somebody a year above me who was the valedictorian, a guy named Jeff Garcia, who stole a movie from me and presented it as his OAC art exam. And I was dead to rights. He'd take it he had a VHS tape that I'd given him, and he just took literally a student film that I'd made. This is in high school stuff, and he presents it as his OAC final. And I go to the teacher and I'm like, "This is crazy. He stole it and presented it." And she looked at me and she was like, "Jeff's very popular. And we can't.
What?
We can't bring this up."
Are
and
you
she was
kidding?
right. She was right. It would have been such a disgrace for it to come down.
Oh, because he was the valedictorian.
He was the literal valedictorian.
He was too big to fail. He's
too big
Lehman,
to- and he
not
was a
Lehman
good-
Brothers.
And he's a
but
good guy. Like looking back on it, they made the right call because I'm serious stuff.
He stole your fucking movie.
Out and out.
He didn't even plagiarize. He didn't
No, he didn't play it as is. It was plagiarized.
Oh, okay. I thought he took your fucking VHS and played it.
Press play.
Yeah, I really did. I really thought that's what you were telling me.
No.
Okay.
It wasn't that egregious.
He at least
he's done his own artistic interpretation on it, and I was just ripping off Fight Club. So how much?
That's so funny. You're like, he stole my whole idea, and it's just a Tyler Durden character.
Literally,
and
it was Tyler Durden's voice over top of some music and commercial images of people in a mall, and I put the negative artwork.
Isn't that awesome? How smart you think you are when you're a teenager.
I was a genius.
You're like, dude, society's actually fucked up. When you're fucking 17 and you're doing black and white montages talking about you can't listen to what they tell you. It's all a lie.
I always say to film students, get that out of your system as soon as you can. Because you have to do it.
Right.
You may as well do it before you are in the adult world. Everybody has a couple ridiculous movies in them that they need to get out. Get those out.
Like
young.
the first thing the first script I wrote was like, it was called Greek Town, and it's about.
I can imagine it's actually not being so bad.
Well, but I mean, but it was just look, the themes I want to do one day, but it was just like on the nose. Yeah. It was just like a fucking awesome guy, and his fucking parents just don't get how fucking sick he is. You know what I mean? And it's like, shut the fuck up.
Of course.
You're a piece of shit. First of all, it's just me I'm too much of a coward to have this conversation with my dad. So I write a script where I'm cool. How old are you when this is? This is like,
7 years ago.
This is like, 6 months ago. I think I actually am waiting for your notes. I emailed you. I haven't heard anything, dude. I thought that's the next. I think that's what you're doing after this. Yeah. After Magic the Gathering, we're doing Greek Town. Honestly, there is an actual movie. Okay, should I even? You know what the actual movie is? You ready for this pitch? You ready for Here's what the actual pitch is. I want to explore the immigrant shit the same way, but I thought it'd be really awesome to sort of do like the character being there's this whole world of Greek wedding entertainment and not wedding, like baptisms, like just Greek festivals. Dude, I've been playing these casinos, and sometimes it's the biggest acts of all time, which is hilarious that I'm in the same places as like literally like Earth, Wind, and Fire. But then half the people that are at huge casinos, these are like 2,000 seaters, are like Prince cover bands. And like there's a real way to make a living touring as a cover band. These people essentially do that on a much lower level. They play Greek festivals and baptisms and weddings and all this kind of thing.
Are these people Greek?
Greek, yeah, they're Greeks.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it's Greek ethnic music. It's not. It's like bouzouki, and it's like folk but modern. They do a whole range of it. It's just like they're playing the hits, right? And they have this like ego about them, of course, because they are performers, and and in their little world, in that inconsequential world, they're fucking superstars, right?
These are the best characters.
Because there was a version of that with stand-up where there were guys who would do very, ethnic humor. It's like everybody does their. And listen, do I do my mom's voice once in our special? Yes.
Yes, I do.
I do my mom's voice, but it's not it's not every punchline, right? When I first started comedy, people were like, "You should come do stand-up at the church," because what they're used to is like. I told my mom I was dating an American woman, and she was like, she started crying. She was whatever. She was like, how dare you, whatever. And I was like, how do I fix this? So then a week later, I go back. I was like, Mom, I'm dating a man. And she's like, why don't you date an American woman instead? Like, you had to trick. Yeah, they're so homophobic that the only, this level of joke, right? Sure. But I just think that would be so fun to just play again. The low, like the king in his little castle.
Of course.
And it doesn't mean anything. And then, that's a way to explore what are you doing with your life? You're in entertainment. You know what I mean? Like that's just a way to do it in a fun way that
it's been a long time since my big fat Greek wedding, which was a phenomenon.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so a part of me thinks that you're due. And hey, look, the Odyssey is now big people like these old stories are becoming relevant again.
Yeah.
So
yeah, very similar, same scale, same scope of what the story I'm talking about is. Okay. Since you brought the Odyssey, let me just get this out here now. I reread it because I was a big mythology guy as a kid, but I hadn't reread the whole thing since maybe in my mid-20s.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me just actually sit down and reread it. The funniest part about the Odyssey for me is like, so Odysseus leaves for the Trojan War, and the Iliad is the first 10 years, right? Yeah. That's they have 10 years of war until the Trojan horse. Then the Odyssey is the story. It takes him another 10 years to get home. He spends 7 of those years on Calypso's island as a sex slave. And the book starts. There's a chapter of the book where he's crying after fucking Calypso all night and having sex with a goddess and being fed, whatever, ambrosia.
Lotus,
exactly. Yeah. He's literally, we see Odysseus on the beach weeping because he's getting too much good pussy and snacks. It's like,
get real.
The Odyssey's 3 years because he had a 7-year vacation where he got to fuck a goddess and have the best food of all time. It's just I couldn't believe that because I wanted to get the timeline right going into the Nolan movie because I was like, I just don't remember. I remember the scattered stories and it really happens it's much more truncated than you think.
I think they did that because they didn't want to create the feeling you're talking about right now, which is big whoop,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
I'd love
yeah.
to take that Odyssey myself.
Yeah, exactly.
But it gets, you know what? It gets at something which is true that I bet you can relate to at a certain level, which is, you know, you like smoking cigarettes, here, smoke the whole pack.
Yeah.
You're going to smoke the whole box.
Of course. I guess it's nice that you're crying because you miss your wife.
It shows you as a moral center.
Yeah. Even though Odysseus in the book really is like, he is a piece of shit.
This is what I remember from way back when I was a kid and didn't understand the text at all. I had to read both of those and it was so over my head, but I loved the hits.
Yeah.
I loved the hits. The myth that I know well is Gilgamesh, which is similar but different. Gilgamesh goes on his own Odyssey, which I can tell briefly. And as soon as you hear this, you'll be like, oh yeah, you're just making that movie over and over again.
Yeah.
And this is the story. So the
It's
first
the story Gilgamesh is secretly in love with his hotter friend.
and he just bro.
Really?
Wait.
Okay,
so he's got a best friend who dies. That's the first half of the myth.
Okay.
And Gilgamesh is the king of like this gigantic palace. He's like the man, but his friend is dead. And so he goes, you know what? I fucking hate it here. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to go try to figure out how to live forever. And so he leaves his palace, which he's so sick of, and he's like, this is the worst place ever. I'm trapped. This is a prison to me. And so he leaves. And he goes and tries to basically meet the gods and challenge them. And it's a lot like Hercules or the Odyssey. And he's given all of these impossible tasks where it's like, you got to stay awake for 7 days. And he stays awake for 3, then falls asleep. You got to do this. And he almost makes it every single time. And the last one is you got to dive to the bottom of this lake, grab this like vegetable at the bottom, bring it back up and eat it, and then you'll live forever. And he makes it almost all the way down and just can't, and comes back up and he's like, I can't do it. And he walks home to his palace a failure. And as he crests the dune, and he's like, just like, oh, fuck my life. I can't believe it. Like I'm coming back and I've done nothing but waste my time. He sees his kingdom as he comes over the dune and he looks at all of it and he starts to cry at how beautiful it is.
Wow.
And he's like, I'm so lucky that this is mine. And it's like it's a message of renewal through failure that for whatever reason, it's the message of my life, because as you witnessed on set daily, all I do is fail, and I'm met with things that I can't possibly do, and I tell myself a lie that you know what, it's going to be okay.
Right.
And I will figure this out later.
Right.
You and I were like this on the set of your special.
Absolutely.
You went through this.
Oh, dude, I completely understood it. Where it was like we had our first show was literally the worst hour of my life for maybe the last 10 years.
I remember that's the first thing you said when you came off stage.
Because this special too, I've built up so much, right? Like I've been working on it for 3 years, and I was supposed to do it, and then I broke my arm, and I'm just like, I just want people to see me as a like top level joke writer, right? I don't want people to think of me as just a crowd work comic. I want people to understand I'm a 5-tool player, right? Like I can do everything when it comes to stand up, right? And the week of, I start to lose my voice. The week before, my back
gives out completely.
I need cortisone shots.
Yeah.
I injured my back the week before tires started in January, and I broke my arm the week we were supposed to do the special originally, and the week before, and then right after that, I was going to go do this Apatow movie. And so before every production, I break my arm or I throw my back out.
Or you lose your voice.
I lose my voice, and then I lost my voice, and then I had the tune-up. The silver lining for breaking my arm was I was going to have the tune-up tour on the West Coast, and I was going to get everything word perfect, and I was going to every odd and every loose end, and I get so sick the day I'm going to do 4 cities in 4 nights, 4 cities, 4 nights, 5 shows. The day that starts, and different city every night, riding a bus, that's the day I get sicker than I've been. And so I'm prescribed steroids for my voice to get through it, and I'm not working on anything. I'm just trying to like not
stay alive.
I'm trying to stay alive. What I should have done was cancel the shows, but it's like
happened.
I'm already there. What the fuck am I gonna do? And it's like I've already canceled a lot of stuff and lost a lot of money canceling things. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. The first show was so bad. We got the lighting wrong, we got the energy wrong. And it was the first time I'd spoken in 2 days because I was on vocal res. So the first words I say are me. That's supposed to be this culmination of 3 years, and I'm bombing. And you guys, from a technical standpoint, were able to get it looking right. Like you fixed all the problems you had to do, right? And then on the second show, we get a lot of stuff done. And I'm like, wow, I'm actually set up to, what is about to happen is this special is going to look incredible. They're going to be like, Matt Johnson's a genius. Everyone.
You think I'm going to get all the credit?
No, but not just you. Like the lighting, I think is going to happen, because I was really set up there for a second to be like, oh, because you guys fixed all your tech. The camera looked incredible. Everything looked, the set deck, and it was going to be like, Stav tried to buy himself a classic. He got this great director. He got the best people. He got this beautiful theater. He clearly spent money on set deck. We're trying to get this awesome song, right? Like everything around it is like marquee special. But he fucking sucks at stand-up.
So you were going to expose yourself even more.
So it was going to be, not only did I do just a mediocre job,
but you put a bullseye around
yourself. But now
I've
put all, and the only thing that's going to be bad is the stand-up. So that's what I'm thinking, is like, not only am I just going to blow it, I'm going to blow it in a way that people think I'm the worst I'm the biggest fraud on earth.
Right.
And I'm a loudmouth piece of shit. You know me. I fucking think I'm when it comes to stand-up, I talk. People sometimes have a problem with how arrogant I come off, just because I've dedicated my life to this. So there would be people very happy
for you to fail publicly,
right?
Especially on a throne. That's regicide to the finest order.
Yeah. But I was so fucking angry going into even the second the second show of the first night, before we even got anything, and that was like, I was like, all right, man, that's what you're up against. I was like, and I, in a fucked up way though.
Oh, it helped. Michel Gondry's
really
got this
helped.
great line on Block Party with Dave Chappelle, where he's on a conference call with all the musicians saying how they're going to put on the show and there's not going to be any prep and they're just going to do it. And Questlove says, well, okay, we're going to try. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but we'll do it.
Yeah.
And Michel Gondry says, yeah, no, but it will be better than perfect, because we won't have any idea what we're doing. And so we will transcend perfection, which is what you want, right? Like, nobody wants to see something perfectly prepared and executed. Well, I won't put it that way. I'll say that what gets people up on their feet screaming and going, oh my gosh, is when they see somebody at the brink of failure, but they pull it off. Yeah. Because that's so much more exciting.
Listen, that's what this special is. We literally, after the first one, I was like, this fucking my life is fucking up. I made a big bet on people taking me seriously as a stand-up, and I fucking lost. And by the way, and it wasn't a good bet, right? It was like, I got horrible odds. You know what I mean? It was like, you have to bet 1,000 to make $2, right?
Oh yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, I bet everything on a sure thing.
You just get your money back.
Yeah. I bet everything on a sure thing, and I still lost because it felt like a sure thing, right? But we figured it out. And when you see, for the people, when they see the special, they will see a man on the brink, because most of what we used is that second show, which is me back against the wall. We had just had the worst show in the world. Yeah.
But you must recognize this from all performance. It's like the kind of easy, just do your line, get it right, and have the director go, okay, yeah, you got it. Great. That's not what you want, right? Like,
sure.
Like, I'll talk about myself. Like, I want to feel out of control, and I want to feel like when it's done, I will never be able to do that again. And when I'm looking at performances, you remember when Leo punches Antonio?
Yes, one of the most electric moments.
And I'm watching Dom through the camera as he's watching these guys. And it's the only one take where Leo throws Dom at the wall. And Dom hits his back.
No, I remember that.
And the door closes, and it's like, and I'm watching it being like, oh, is Dom okay? And then Dom watches these guys scream at one another. It's only one take of it. You could never ask him to do that again. No. And you're watching it like, all right, well, this is it. And
no, but that's the beauty. Okay, so that's what I've actually loved about camera acting, right? That to me makes so much more sense, because you are trying to capture this lightning in a like this
something that you couldn't repeat.
That you couldn't repeat.
And stand-up is so the opposite.
Stand-up
You're so right.
Is all getting it down. And in fact, I think I am very proud of what we did, obviously, but I really do wish I had just 1 week to be physically healthy. Like, I wish I had 1 week off to just be mentally and physically there. But the other thing you realize is, like, when you are playing, when you're trying to do something really great, I mean, we were never going to get this. We were never going to be able to do it again. There was no way we could postpone it a second time. There was no play. Like, getting
there are 100 people there just setting it up.
There's 100 people. This is the hubris of wanting to do a really big level special. It was like there's 2,000 people each show.
Yeah,
we're going to get them to buy tickets
Again,
three times.
the third time, I
and
know.
you're about to do fucking 8 movies, and we have Jared, we have fucking Kurt and Bobby.
Well, it was never going to happen again.
It was never going to happen
yeah,
again.
It had to
so
happen.
it was this thing where it's like, all right, man, there's no perfect anything. Even though you've been working on this for 3 years, you're not going to, some of these jokes are not going to be photographed. They're not going to be remembered in time the way you want them
exactly.
to be. Exactly. But there are other things we did that are even better. So that's the trade-off. Like, I'm thinking about this so much because in the midst,
we're about to deliver this in a few days.
We're in the midst of the final cut, and I've been wrestling with these things where it's like, what can I live with? What can I not live with? What am I okay with? What am I not? And it's like, at the end of the day, that's the beauty that, it still is at the same time. It's not exactly what I wanted, but it's a different and better artifact, I think. And what I loved was just collaborating with people who, this was really cool working with you on it. I'd never had anybody who's like creative vision I respected to do different stuff on us. Because I would never, that honestly for me was a big thing because stand-up, I'm such a control freak over stand-up, but doing Tony, I was just like, I really, the way you directed was so, there was like so communication based and so we are in this together based. There was no dictatorial. It actually really amused me because the way you direct is like, if you showed aliens and you're like, hey, who's in charge here? The answer would not be
say
you.
Me. Yeah, I'm not.
They'd be like, I think that's everybody's assistant. Yeah, I think somehow this guy is everyone is his boss. Like that's what it feels like because you really want to set people up and you really also want them to be heard. But and that's why going back to the very beginning when you said like you hate hierarchy, like you hate it.
I hate power.
You hate power and you want a flat hierarchical system. It's a very interesting way because I do think most people who hate that, you become the thing you hate. Like most people, and I think I have this problem where it's like I hate being told what to do, and that manifests itself sometimes in me being a control freak and being like, no, I know what the fuck is going. Shut the fuck up, which is bad. I had never even until you said that right now, I had never even considered that the way to rebel against authority is to create a system that has no authority. You know what I mean?
Now, that only works if you're working with people that really do want the best for one another, because that goes bad really quick as soon as someone's got an ego and they're like, no, my idea has to win because it's my idea.
Right.
And that's when you're fucked.
Totally.
And so any type of collaborative, fraternal system, like I'm always trying to make, goes south quickly, and I've been in those situations where you realize 1, 2 people are feeling their nose is at a joint. Oh, they haven't had a pitch go through in a little while.
Yeah.
Oh, and because I'm in some ways pantomiming that I'm not in charge.
Right.
That becomes infuriating when you're the person who's never getting their idea through and there's no boss. Right? So
actually, on some level, it's like, it's not that there's no boss. It's that you don't have the decency to admit you're the boss.
Bingo! It's almost a corrupt evil.
You don't want to you don't want to be like, someone's got to.
It's
I
cowardly.
Have to be it is
cowardly
on some level.
Me.
It is a little cowardly.
Hugely,
yeah.
And I recognize that. And the way that I've tried to protect myself is to be around people who I love and would really do anything for. Right?
Yeah.
You've met Kurt and Bobby.
What I was just gonna say is, what you got working with you guys on the special is literally what I strive to do on a collaborative thing. Because you guys were so open with each other, and and sometimes what would read as straight up mean, but it wasn't mean. It was like, we don't have enough time to even fucking talk about this. I know the answer, just shut the fuck up. But then the same person who said that 4 seconds later would say something else. You'd be like, you're a fucking genius.
Right.
You'd be kissing him on the mouth. That's such a beautiful idea, right? And there was just such freedom to truly no ego and truly, you motherfuckers, you moved as a real unit. It was like, it felt, you, Kurt, Bobby, Jared felt like Power Rangers were they're separate.
The Megazord.
Right. It felt like, you guys felt like the Megazord.
It's a great feeling, and the truth is, there's a Steve Jobs quote about this, which is that if you work with great people, you realize very quickly you work for them.
Right. Yeah.
And that is, I've just found that it's not just that it's a true idea, that's just reality.
Right.
Like, I need to keep them interested. I need to keep my collaborators involved and invested more so than they need to impress me.
Right.
Because at any moment, these guys are so talented, they could leave and do anything they want. They could do anything they want, and which is so challenging for me because, think about it. So you call me, you say, hey, Matt, guess what? You're directing my special. You remember what I said at first?
I don't.
I said no.
I know, yeah, of course.
I said, I don't know how to do that. I don't want to. And you said, unfortunately, you are. And that's all. And that's really all it took. Like, we're close enough that that's all you had to say.
I was also like, dude, this is nothing. Because
you lied to me as well and said there was going to be no work.
Be easy.
Yeah, right.
But I knew that lie would work because, yes, there's a version of a special.
Where I could have phoned it in completely, yeah.
But I knew you would never do that. I knew you were good. You don't work on anything.
You manipulated me.
I did. I manipulated. And look, I was like, no, really what it was like, if this motherfucker just gives me some long lens, like if we just shoot this interesting at the baseline.
That's enough. I remember you said that to me as well.
And that's what I told you. I was like, I just want this to look different at least. But I think what we did, I had a hunch. And here's the funny thing. I had a hunch something magical would happen. But at the same time, the thing you pitched, I thought would never work.
I remember.
I was like, all right, dickhead, sure. Like, we can't just interview 100 lunatics in Toronto until we get one guy. You know what I mean?
Technique.
Yeah,
of course.
Right? I was like, we need to find a magic random person. We only have 4 shots at it.
And we need to find him in the first 2 shows.
And realistically, it has to happen in the first 2 shows so we can, whatever. Like, we have this whole idea and watch the special. I don't want to suck us off too much, right? But I do think we pulled off.
We did what we thought we could do.
What we thought might be possible.
Exactly. And so you got to imagine my perspective when I go to these guys who I work on everything with, and I say, hey, so I'm going to go direct this Stavros special. Do you guys want to come do it? And then, of course, I'm in the position that you were just in, which is they're like, well, why would we? And I realize, of course, I need to do work that is worth their time.
Right.
And it's the promise I make. I mean, you tell me how you feel about this, because it's so different for a stand-up comedian, but you too have a group of people who are supporting you, and in some ways, they work for you, but you owe them.
Yeah,
and
that's my. Truly,
that's your family.
In a fucked up way, my family are my employees, and that my best friend Eldis is my podcast producer and my tour manager, and until very recently, my assistant was my best friend growing up, Christina, who me, Christina, and Eldis lived in Astoria together. They had real jobs. They subsidized my life.
Right.
They let me live in the corner of their apartment for $500 a month when I was dead broke. And these are people I can trust. Anyway, that unit is just, and Ben O'Brien, who, we go way back.
Unbelievable guy.
The best in the world. The best in the world.
But you see what I mean when I say that when you have a responsibility for you to do well by them. And so when I'm pitching Kurt and Bobby and Jared, hey, do you guys want to come make this special for Stav? I need to make it worth their while. And by extension, when I'm making a deal with any collaborator, and if that's like a member of the crew of a movie or an actor, I mean, it's the deal I made you. I said, hey, listen, you have no reason to really trust me, but I promise that if you do, and that if you, what's the word? It's not that I asked you to take a huge risk, but if you risk embarrassing yourself, I promise you, I will be the one in the end who makes sure that this is maybe not the best movie ever made, but it's the best I am capable of making. And I'm not going to give up on it ever. And I will be the person who's fighting with the studio, with anybody who's telling me that we actually need to change something. And I feel like more than anything, that's the role I provide to people on these projects, which is that, yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm kind of stupid. I don't have a great idea of how movies even get made. But I promise that in the end, I'm willing to die for this to be good.
And I believe you. Yeah, too much. Yeah,
maybe even too much.
Too much. I do think too much.
And that I think allows people to then go, okay, so then I can commit everything to this.
100%. And listen, it was like such a no-brainer when you called me to do. Basically, the call was like, hey, can you come bully Dominic Sessa for 2 weeks?
And you remember what you said? You said, I have a lot of things I could say to him.
I know. I mean, I don't know. I said this in a different interview. I think we did so much press yesterday, but I really, really was like, I didn't actually want it, but a part of me was like, I hope this guy's
a piece of shit.
Yeah. Because look, my whole life, the villain in my story is a handsome guy
who gets
who's
everything
been handed
handed to him,
everything,
yeah.
right? And like Dom, and there's a way to look at Dom when you don't know him, and you
Easily,
and you don't know his story.
Private school kid who gets cast in an Alexander Payne
and he's
movie.
good.
Yeah,
and that's the most fucking annoying part. He wasn't just a pretty face that they put in the background while Paul Giamatti did all the heavy lifting. This motherfucker acted his dick off on that movie.
Oh, yeah.
And he had and it was like, where did this kid come from? I didn't even tell Dom this story, but it was like, when I watched that movie, I watched it with a girl, and it hit me so hard emotionally, and I'm trying to be cool, and she's just like, oh, this is a pretty good movie, and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. And I'm like, just trying not to start crying, but that's how and so yes, handsome, like model, good looks,
effortless,
gets handed a not just movie career, but like leading man career at fucking 20.
I think within like 6 months of that movie coming out, he was on the cover of like GQ.
Yeah, right. And so part of me is like, yeah, I can go destroy this kid on camera.
God sent me to humiliate him.
And yes. But then Dom is the best kid, and he was trying so hard. He was putting himself into it, and it's interesting because what does try even mean? Because what you've told him was like like I just need you to react.
Basically, I said don't do anything.
Don't change a fucking thing.
Don't do anything.
And that's even in some ways that's harder because there's no homework to do. There's no exercise. There's no.
It's like hearing you're going to war.
Yeah,
and
and
then all you do is sit and
luck.
wait in the boat.
Yeah. Just waiting for somebody to hand you a rifle and then all right, action. You know what I mean? Like, and so he was, and so when I met him, he's the best kid of all time, really, and I loved him immediately. But it actually made it harder to hit him because
I remember that day.
That day was like, fuck, I feel bad for this kid.
Yeah.
Because you can't just, the guy I'm playing is a blue collar fucking, he's not gonna come up with an in-character insult about this Tony Bourdain kid. He's gonna see a gawky guy and he's gonna say, "You look like a fucking."
You look like you're wearing women's clothes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Gonna call him a gay giraffe.
Bingo.
You know what I mean? Like that's the level of insult that he's.
Things that he probably is more sensitive about than if you were to talk about his psychological issues.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just pure surface level roasting, and I was like, "This is the worst." This is the worst, like, roasting these are the worst circumstances for roasting. It's a target I don't want to hit in a completely silent movie set.
Yeah, and Antonio Banderas is watching.
And yes. And it was, like, pretty early.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, and dude, more than I gave a fuck about the movie, I was like, I need Antonio Banderas.
I need sort of like
that's all, dude, truly, that's all I gave. And we got there eventually with the first, he was the man. We were, he would actually just, like, somebody who's that legendary. If he was like, if there was a lunch break and a helicopter came down and picked him up for 40
nobody would have
minutes,
blinked.
I would have, of course. And he doesn't even land. He eats lunch. He eats lunch circling our green room. Great. Makes it too windy and hot. And I'd be like, thank you, sir. It's an honor to eat in the wake of your helicopter. Your helicopter wind, sir. Thank you. But no, he was there. He was fucking hanging out. He was the man.
He was so graceful.
Yeah. I'm sad he couldn't make it to the premiere. I literally miss Antonio Banderas. I miss him more than members of my family. Easily. If you told me I could have one day with Antonio Banderas or a year with my elderly aunt.
Oh, sure. Another healthy year. Another
healthy year of my life. Yeah, easy, dude. Yeah. But I need a full day. I need a full day in Malaga. For a year of my life,
and he treats you as a peer.
Exactly. Yeah. He takes me to the little restaurant he only knows about, get me the freshest paella. You know what I mean? We got dancing. I want to go,
Did you see him dance?
No.
He's unbelievable.
Of course he is.
He's unbelievable.
He's unbelievable at everything.
The first day on set, we're shooting the scene where I had to send him and Dom out in a boat and with these fish. And of course, boat doesn't work, we're in to fish. And he rightfully, on mic,
awesome.
says to Dom, I've never really been in this situation before. And Dom's looking at him. He can't defend me. I'm back on the shore. And I'm like, oh, yeah, well, I really fucked this up. Antonio Banderas thinks I'm a clown and the movie's done. Anyway, he comes back after we finish the scene and he's staying in a local person's house, just somebody in Cape Cod. And because we have no green rooms, we're like in the community. Right. And he's in their home and they've graciously said, how graciously they said Antonio Banderas is coming to your house. They said, of course. I go in to talk to him because I'm going to apologize. I'm like, I'm sorry things have gone so badly. I walk in and I can hear piano music. And I walk in, I'm like, what's going on? Him and the entire family. They're all
The
around
family?
they're all around the piano. He's playing and singing traditional Spanish music, and everyone is dancing. And I look over, I go, Antonio, and he looks over at me like, hey, 1 second.
It's like he's an X-Men whose superpower is everyone you meet will fall in love with
They
you.
they love him.
It's insane. And not even, doesn't have to, he chooses the type of love. He chooses platonic, romantic, whatever it is. Like he
Agape.
Agape,
These are all-
of course. Every
yeah.
different type of love. He can choose what type, but he can make, if he sends his little laser beams on it, he'll decide, you're toast.
Eros.
It's Eros.
Yeah, I would say that's
Absolutely.
his real secret weapon.
Yeah. He was, truly the man.
Yeah, I loved him, and he gave us such a gift by coming to be in this film, and I don't know how he even did what he did, because it's not like he and I had a plan where I was like, okay. I mean, I made the character Roman Catholic. I gave him as much biographical information that was pertinent to him as I could, but that was all him. His like, I'm super humble. I never raise my voice. I got a problem with taking the Lord's name in vain.
Right. Yeah, that was. I mean, look, I've been like lucky to work with some good ass actors, obviously, and with barely acting myself, but it was like, there was a lot of heavy. He was doing so much heavy lifting in that kitchen because everything. What was awesome about this movie was that the real life dynamics just mirrored the movie
almost identically.
It was kind of insane how exactly perfect the casting was for where everybody was in their lives.
Oh yeah,
our characters are taking their cues from Chef, but also every actor in there is like, whatever the fuck Antonio Banderas does, I'm getting on that wavelength.
Bingo.
If Matt says that's wrong, I don't fucking care.
Thank
doing
God,
what
thank God
Antonio
that didn't
Banderas
happen too
says.
much, because that would have been a real problem.
It really didn't.
I remember the only time it ever got tested was when he was absolutely convinced his character needed to make a shrimp paella. Do you remember that? Where he was like, it's important, my character must make one. And I was like, Antonio, it's not on the menu. You're in Cape Cod. I can't. And he was like, and then this was the compromise. He said, I'm going to do it anyway, and you just don't shoot me. And I was like, deal. I mean, what am I going to say? You got it.
No problem, boss.
You got it. And then so for that, and do you want to know what scene that is? That's the scene where Leo comes in and punches him. So when you watch that in the movie, watch what Antonio's doing at the beginning of the scene.
Oh my God.
He's peeling shrimp for a shrimp paella.
That's so fucking funny.
That I guess is just for family meal.
Which
was another big part of it. But yeah, it led to my favorite scene in the whole movie. And I love that reaction from you. God, it's one of the few things that I had in my head when I'm putting the movie together. I was like, man, the expression that Stavros can have watching Antonio Banderas get punched, which is because you have an attitude, both in real life and in the film, of just try it. You know, like I'm ready for anything. I will never be surprised.
Right.
In fact, that's one of your gifts.
Right.
Is that it's
I can roll. I can literally roll with the punches. Right.
Whatever happens, you'll be the first to laugh.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And you're gifted in that way. It's almost like you're unflappable. There's a great term in a John Updike book. You're as invincible as a Clorox bottle, and it's true. It's very hard to imagine you seeing something that makes you panic. And I thought, if Leo punching Antonio can get a rise out of Stavros, then the audience is really going to know this has really crossed a line.
I know what you mean.
Crossed a line that is like scary.
Yeah, because particularly my character in this is like, he is the guy who's like, all right, everybody, shut the fuck up. Like, he kind of is. He's like, for a sports analogy, so he's almost like Draymond Green, right? On the Warriors. Do you a basketball guy?
I don't follow this reference at all, but I will play ball.
Anyway, whatever. Not even. Let's just make it more general, where it's like, he's not the best player on the team, right? And I'm not a good chef. I'm not whatever. Even in the
That's
story,
not why
right?
you're there.
That's not why I'm there.
Yes.
But I do a really good job, and the intangibles. I kind of do feel like, in many ways, my character was sort of like the locker room guy, the backbone, almost like the family backbone of this.
You set the culture of the place more than anybody.
The heavy lifting I'm doing is not, you don't see it, but it's, yes, let's all get along. And you know, I have this all, they definitely used to go out, you know, they would go out drinking, and I would organize it. We get a little piece of that at the, you know, during the family
service,
dinner stuff. And also there's a guy who's been there for 10 years, right? In my head, like, right? And so if he's like, oh, fuck.
This has never happened before.
Of course. Because I even remember, and I I was like, we'll do anything. I don't give a fuck. The one thing I was on the page, that scene, I think I told you this already, where I was like, I just feel like my character would get in the mix. Like
I remember you telling me this.
I remember feeling like, and truly, I never had a single note, mostly because we never really, it was always every time I got on set, we kind of decided what to do. It wasn't like, there wasn't much, but that was such a crucial scene where we were like going over it, and I was like, dude, it feels right to me. And like right before we were shooting, I was thinking that, even to the point where I was like,
that you would need to break up the fight in some way.
Or even that I would get, that it wouldn't feel right not to get in the mix earlier. And then this is such a testament to Leo, where it's like the way he acted, the way his character behaved, it was like, it legitimately, I was like, oh no, I would be fucking scared to get in this. This is just way above this dickhead's pay grade.
Yeah.
That was also a moment where I was like, oh fuck, there is really good acting. You know what I mean? Like there are moments of how the last couple of years have gone where it's like, it just like I hate how much like actory bullshit is getting into my head. You know what I mean?
But it works.
How much the talking about energy. You know what I mean? Like talking about shit like that, and like and it's like, man, if like I straight up was getting goose, like Leo was so fucking good that it felt different in there, and I was like, this is the perfect performance. He's acting so well that background acting is hard when you're not a real actor, when you're some guy that they bring in to say insults, right? But that was like, I just felt like, and again, that kitchen felt like a kitchen. It didn't feel like a set at all.
Right.
It was fucking insane how much I felt like I was at work.
I was going to say, how much do you want to bet that the whole reason that I find your reaction in that scene so powerful, and why for me it makes the scene, is precisely because you believed that you would never not step in.
Ooh, yes.
How much do you want to bet?
You're so fucking right.
That it's your expectation being broken in the moment, that then for me watching it as an audience member goes, oh, something has happened here that was not planned.
Yeah.
There must be a relationship
no, you're so fucking right.
between those two things, because why are you feeling so strongly the other way? And I mean, I have no expectation. Had you, by the way, gone in and been like, guys, fucking relax. In fact, there is a moment, and when you're watching the scene, you'll hear it. You hear your voice, and it's in the scene. I'm going to close up on Leo, and you hear you go, guys, and you say it with that tone of voice that I've heard you say when you witnessed an argument in real life, where you go, guys, and Leo turns to you. We don't even see you, and he goes, shut the fuck up. He screams in your face. Yeah. And that's the last time we hear you. Because he's so in the pocket.
Yeah, he was.
And we're just improvising. Like the scene is just happening. And nobody breathed a word after that. Because I don't want to get beat up by Leo Woodall.
Of course.
And he took it there.
Yeah, he really did. No, he was at 10 for sure.
I had a fantasy early on when I'm writing that where I was like, oh, and then they should bring out knives and they should fight, and I'll have Zorro fighting.
Right. There was a knife fight that we cut. Yeah, right. You're right.
And then it was Antonio who came up to me and he said, do you think I'd really bring up a knife to this guy? And I said, why do you say that? And he said, don't I love him? And I went, oh, wait, that's the whole scene.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
That's the whole scene. Of course, you would never try to hurt him. You love him. And that's why the scene becomes, what do you mean? How could I punch you? I love you.
It's Leo completely tearing up the constitution of that kitchen.
And then having it thrown back in his face. Because the brilliance of it is, of course, the first half where he throws this punch and you go, hey guys, everything's changed and this is no longer a safe place. And then he says to his father, basically, okay, well, we're finally going to do this. I hate you. You hate me. So let's see who the real man is. I think it's me. I bet you think it's you. So let's go. And then Antonio Banderas is looking at him and he's kind of flummoxed, almost crying. And he goes, I like you.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Leo is so crushed by the realization that, oh, wait, this guy wasn't my enemy. He was my friend, that he has to run away and basically swears revenge.
Of course. Because
what else are you going to do? It's so my experience where my whole childhood, I'm like, oh, my mom hates me. She hates me. And that's why my life is like this. And
Holy shit.
And okay, fine. She hates me. I hate her. Easy. I know how to play that game. That's why I was put here, and that's why she was put here to torture me, and I was put here to try to get out from under her thumb. No problem. And then my first step into adulthood is realizing, come on, she's acting this way because she cares about me.
Right.
She loves me more than anybody will ever love me in my life. And I had it so backwards.
Fuck, yeah.
And there's nothing more painful than that.
Yeah.
That sent me reeling for years.
That's your Gilgamesh right there, bro.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah. That's the foundational understanding what you had.
Yeah, I'm still making movies about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, next one we'll make about your dad.
Oh, that's going to be a good one. Yeah. I know, I do think...
Greektown.
Greektown, baby. Let's do it. Fire it up. A24, hey, we're on the podcast. Can we get a little...
Oh, wait a minute. I think they might actually own it.
Yeah, oh, fuck. I didn't sign shit.
I think they might own the movie. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to the A24
That's
podcast. Right. It was wonderful. I'm Matt Johnson here with Stavi.
Oh, yeah, let's introduce ourselves.